You have arrived. Wake up and travel beyond the illusion. What is the mirror of your life reflecting around you now, and what does it mean? Master Lady Kira Raa leads you on a journey of enlightened perspectives as she weaves together the elements waiting to be revealed and often not seen. A fascinating and dynamic hour that will leave your heart smiling and your soul singing. And of course, Kira Raa's famous mini soul readings. Be sure to call in. And now, here is Master Lady Kira Raa.
Well, namaste and welcome, beloved one, to Soul Mirrors. Hey, what is your life reflecting? When we come together in the mirror of consciousness, everything expands. And this is a dynamic show tonight. It's one where my heart breathes that joy of what I like to call the Soul Mirrors commitment. That means when we come forward in sincerity, love, and presence, when we can mirror and be in that presence of all that is now, miracles happen and miracles are happening. And so welcome to Soul Mirrors. Welcome here on April 13, 2021. And I am really excited because tonight my co-host is the one, the only, the amazing Elizabeth Yarnell. You may have already gotten to know Elizabeth the last time we had the pleasure of her being on this show. Of course, she was amazing at the WWA Festival that just happened. We'll be sure to be talking about that. And really calling all of that together. Now that we've put all this out there, now that our voice came together, now that all of this energy has been released, what are we doing? And it brings us full circle right here, right now. So a big show, a lot to share with you. And I do want to give you those phone lines right now because you want to get in a queue early. Again, if you're calling in over at BBS Radio, it's 888-627-6008. Again, that's 888-627-6008 over at BBS Radio. You can also call in over at Oneness Talk Radio at 517-208-1500. 517-208-1500, and that is my reminder to make sure that you can get in there. So yes, you can. I did just get that conference started. And so, my loves, let's go to this moment. Let's talk about the power of the cycle of this illuminated new moon. If you've been tracking with the up-level calendar, then you're already aware that we are in a cycle that opened up on Saturday. And this is April 10, April 11, April 12, April 13, culminating tomorrow, April 14. This period where this beautiful illuminated new moon has been coming forward and has been coming forward fearlessly, empowered, with this release of doubt and this sense of knowing, this presence that has not been before. And it brings us to yesterday, the 12th, when I sincerely bow before all of you that were with us at Monday Magic for the magic that happened last night. And I'm not going to say anything about that because I'm sure some of our callers, and I even believe Elizabeth was there, we can chat about that more. And it's like, how can it keep getting better? Last night, when that illuminated new moon came out, miracles happened in real time when we came together in one heart. That is the ignition of how we heal the heart of humanity. It is the remembrance, it is the claiming, it is the saying yes to coming together in wholeness. And it brings us to today, this magic 13. And the 13 is the feminine. It is the whole. It is that, imagine the clock, right? The 0 to the 12. But what holds that whole thing together is the womb of the infinite creation. And that is why the power of the 13 is so balanced. Remember, the 1 plus the 3 is what? The 4 again. It's that cross of perfect balance, right? That absolute, the center of every indigenous ceremony, you put the sugar down and you always put it in the cross of perfect balance so that only sweetness may come into your life and be balanced in all directions. And so today is April 4, 13-4, right? It is a moment where we're being gifted with infinite presence and infinite wisdom that will heal the heart of humanity. Because that 4 and that 4 become that beautiful, ignited, infinite presence of the heart. And tomorrow, on the 14th of April, we step into a peak up-level moment for humanity. And that's going to build and build and build and build until we get near the end of the month. And a lot more I'm going to be sharing about that on Sunday on Sri and Kira Live, so you really want to be there for that. So it brings us to this moment right now. And the questions that might be before you, and the opportunity to decide, what does healing look like in your life? To really go deep with that, because it is humanity itself that has its heart out there saying, what do you want this to look like? We are the ones that are co-creating this moment. And if you have found your way to this program, then it's because you are a master that's been tapped on the shoulder. It's because you have lifted your consciousness to the moment of divine awareness, whereby the inspiration becomes the solution. The opportunity, the connection, the synchronicity, the expansion. It becomes an effortless, bliss-filled, joy-filled plate of fun. And this is how we sustain the consciousness to this level of awareness. I like to refer to it as we're all coming to the same table, but we're all walking in as contributors, awake to that which we are. And that brings me to the Ascended Numerology for this month. And I want to go ahead and do a quick screen share with all of you. And so let me go ahead. And you know what? Before I do that, let me offer you this, because this is pretty profound, or at least it is in my world. This past week, Sri and I were very, very blessed to go to Ingapurka with a beautiful guest who's here in residence right now, Marcy. Hey, Marcy, down in La Sala. And when I took Marcy down this corridor at Ingapurka, and I'm going to show you the full temple in a moment, what you're seeing here is the wall of music. And if I was walking down that wall right now on the left side where the wall is taller, literally those stones illuminate. And if you can touch the right stones in the right sequence, when you get to this gateway, notice how those two stones right there are blue at the very top. Well, that is the same blue as Tosa Blue Mountain. And when I show you the rest of the temple is made of that blue stone. And what you're not seeing here is the way that you can hold this stone. And the reason this is so important to pay attention to in this moment, especially as we are coming into this extraordinary feminine experience, is look at Ingapurka. Ingapurka, and in September, we're going to be bringing our group to Ingapurka because Ingapurka is the seed of creation. Notice it's round. It is the only round temple in the entire Incan Empire because it is the priestess's temple. The only beings that they found there was the high priestess and 10 priestesses, 11 total. It was the temple where all of the empowerment of the women and the circle of creation came forward. And you can see all around it, all of the other energies. Well, that's very much what's happening right now, especially when we get to this Ascended Numerology. And I'm going to go ahead and put that up for you because it's important to pay attention to what your body may be saying right now, especially as we're getting ready to welcome in Elizabeth. So this is the Ascended Numerology for April. And again, Ascended Numerology is the ancient system of the Magi. This was the sacred scroll that when you were born, it was already known you were a master, and the Magi would literally arrive at the birth, write the sacred scrolls, which would look a lot like this, and gift them to the ones that were shepherding your evolutionary process. And so to offer an ascended numerology session is every time for me, I feel like I'm attending a birth. So when we look at these months right now and we notice that our consciousness is expanding beyond where it has ever been before, and we put ascended numerology back into motion on this planet outside of the councils of Nicaea, where a group of men got together and said, no, we're just going to use 1 through 9. We're going to truncate, because this is the journey of the soul's essence. This is guiding us through this moment when we are awake. And so when you gaze at an ascended numerology chart, and on the left is the actual chart, and on the right is how that chart overlays on physical form for this moment that we're in right now. But you see, it's all about the flow. It's all about the cycle. And this day, this 13-day, go right into the 0. If you've been watching our other shows, what you'll remember, and if not, let me just give you the quick catch up, is right now you see that 12 at the top. The entire month, April 2021, is the 12 plus the infinite. So that means no matter where we're moving during the month, we are at the 12 o'clock hour in every way. And are you greeting that with champagne or terror? If you're greeting it with champagne, it's an extraordinary moment. But here's the caveat. From that 12, we're all on our own little swing, and we're hanging right there where it says 0, and we're swinging in this infinite energy. And that's all month long. That is how strong the amplification is. So if you look over on the chart where it's showing you the body, what you'll see is the 12 is what? It's your star consciousness. And this is where it becomes all about today. Your star consciousness is about an inch above your third eye. Often people get headaches here. Often people who suffer migraines or lots of neurological issues is because they have such an incredible wide open star consciousness that it's in conflict with density. And until they finally resolve it, it really messes with the nervous system. And so the star consciousness, think about the collective nervous system of our world of form right now. Think about the fear consciousness. Think about the constant bombardment of, will we be here tomorrow? Your nervous system is being assaulted right now. And the only way to really let go of that assault is to say yes to this perfect balance that's before you, and to breathe in the moment of your own awareness. And then to ignite around you all others who are ready to see that as well. It's a new way of living, it's a new way of being, and it's a new way of modeling. And before I go any further, and before I talk more about how this is affecting our star consciousness and the ascended numerology, I want to jump in and welcome our beloved Elizabeth Yarnell. Elizabeth, welcome to the show. You're muted, honey. Hold on.
It's on my end. I got it.
Okay, there we are. Say that again.
I said, Kira, thank you so much for having me on today. I am so excited to be back here with you.
We are excited to have you here too. And I am just loving your beautiful background and just feeling like it was only yesterday that you were literally right here. I mean, literally right here. Oh my goodness gracious.
It's so funny because the day I met you, remember we were on somebody else's talk show.
We were.
And we just started talking, and literally before we went off the air, I think I said on the show, I don't know what else is going on, but I know I'm going to toss a blue mountain.
And you did. I mean,
and I did.
Right? That was a declaration of fact. And you want to talk about public witnessing of miracle manifestation, right?
Absolutely. And then not even 3 or 4 months later, I was there, and wow, if any of you out there are watching or listening and you have the opportunity to go to Taza Blue Mountain in Ecuador, it is a life-altering experience.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for receiving. You know, it makes I'm connecting with you and it like tears in my eyes because it's like, oh my gosh, I remember hugging in the parking lot, right? Just like yesterday. And it is life altering when we get to meet each other and, you know, go beyond this. I mean, thank goodness for the Zoom world, but when we have the opportunity to really remember that connection is still all about this. And I'm curious, how was your experience with the Kenyati and that light experience?
Oh my gosh. I have been really struggling to explain it ever since I came back because it was so impactful and so meaningful. And I feel like I'm just going to repeat myself in so many ways. It was the most authentic and powerful ceremony, gathering, ritual I've ever attended. And I think probably almost everyone there cried. There were probably 70 people there during the several points at it. And it was so meaningful. The Kunyati themselves, the men were crying, the women were crying. There was so much love that was happening there. And they expressed it to each other so beautifully. They just poured out their hearts in public ceremony in appreciation of each other. It was.
Can you share? Can you remember some words that were said?
So definitely, I remember there was one woman, I think she was the sister of Alejandro, who talked about when it was her turn, and when it's your turn, you got the feather, the eagle feather, and the cigar.
Yeah,
And those were the ceremonial kind of talking sticks. And when it was her turn, she talked about, she singled out a man a Kunyati man who was there. I wasn't sure if she was related to him or not, but she talked about she's a single mother and she had so many struggles and he was always there. She could always depend on him to help her. Oh, I'm going to cry now just talking about it. It just felt so universal, right? It's like we have these problems here in the US all the time. And yes, the Kunyati have it there in their little corner of Ecuador, and it is everywhere. And the Kunyati men all talked about how there had been times that they had taken their women folk for granted and not honored them in the way they should, and not been that man for them, that husband, that dependable person, and how they needed to be reminded and to remember to honor the feminine part. And this was such a monumental event for them too, because it was really the first time the women joined into these ceremonies. So powerful.
It still takes my breath away. And talk about the healing power of the Temescal experience. Because, you know, we're talking about this healing of the heart of humanity. And this is why I'm wanting to start here, because you were here for this. You know, you made the monumental journey. Whatever it was, when you made your declaration of fact that you were coming, which I love, you're here. And now you're on the flip side of that, but I see it all over you. It's like I want the before and after photo, right? So let's start about talk to us about that overnight profound experience, the healing energy of that.
Again, I'm still I feel like I'm going to write a book about this at some point, but I don't have the words yet. There's still not, the whole experience is still not fully integrated. And I have to tell you, I found it really helpful when I went back and watched some of the YouTube videos that we had posted, especially of the Oneness Talk Radio hosts who were all kind of sharing their experiences too, because I was like, oh yeah, there was that too. There was that too. There was so much to remember and to keep track of. The whole evenings the whole night that we spent awake with the Kunyati on the mountainside at 7,500 feet on the site of the ancient temple. When we witnessed the equinox sun rising over the mountain perfectly between, and I have this great picture, between the notches in the mountain to illuminate right where we were sitting, the line of our fire. I mean, it wasn't an accident where we were. And it was, I am coming back in September to witness it again, but I mean, how many people, it was almost like, the documentary and photographs that you see of, say, Stonehenge at the equinox, or in Mesa Verde at the equinox. Right. This was the exact same experience. And it really, for me, just came smashing down all the oneness of all humanity and all of our origins, how we have all ancestrally have this common experience of designing our lives around the sun and the solar system and how it moves across our sky. And this is universal from the pyramids. I mean, it was like that moment in Indiana Jones, right? When the sun comes up and lights up the jewel in the temple and opens the door.
Woohoo! I'm just like, my cheeks hurt, right? My cheeks hurt from smiling so much. I kid you not, because it's mind blowing. And we had no idea. Remember, when we purchased this place, we had no clue any of this was coming. I mean, we thought we were going to buy this little reclusive place, right? And just kind of hang out. And wow, right? And what's so profound is, and this is part of why I just want to echo, where is National Geographic? I mean, this is why that temple was built there. That is why the Kunyati came, because it is in direct, perfect alignment. And, the word magic keeps coming up. And I have to quote you. Can I quote you?
Absolutely.
Can I quote you? Because, guys, you have to hear this, because honestly, Elizabeth, you nailed it. When we were standing in the Violet Ray Dome, which was just so magical in and of itself to be standing in the Violet Ray Dome that evening that you and your beloved husband were getting ready to depart. And you said, this is really Hogwarts. And I just thank you for saying that, because it is, right?
It is. I mean, I feel like I went to wizardry school and learned how to tap into my internal powers that were always there, but I never knew how to access them before like this.
Well, and I'm just so excited because it's evident, like it's all, you have just this massive glow. And I also want to honor your husband, who I just adore. We all just adore. Her husband is amazing. And that he also, and I think it's important for people to hear that he had a very different Hogwarts experience, right? But he had the one that was good for him.
Yes. And so in the beginning, he said, "Oh, I don't think I want to go spend the night on the mountain with the Kunyari. It sounds like a tourist trap." And he said, "Do you want to go?" And I said, "Well, absolutely. I feel like this is going to be a once in a lifetime experience. And I'd rather go than not go." And so he decided that he was going to come, and wow, was he convinced that this was not a tourist trap experience where everything was being put on as a show. This was everything at Tussa Blue Mountain was so authentic and so real. So I haven't shared this with you yet, Kira, but at one point during the week, I turned to him and I said, how are you feeling about everything? Because again, it was Hogwarts and there was a lot of magic happening and classes in clairvoyance and crystals and all sorts of things. And he said, "Well, a lot of these people are kind of out there." And I said, "Yeah, I know. But really what I'm asking you is, how are you feeling about me as I'm going through this experience?" And he said, "I knew you were a witch before I married you."
How precious. Oh, how precious. And how precious that the two of you could have this beautiful experience together. Right. And have that, you were commenting on that. And this is part of how we heal the heart, is that we don't have to see the things exactly the same way to love and heal the heart. And that's what I love about this sharing, is that the two of you had an equally profound and an extraordinary experience. And it was absolutely serving for the level of consciousness that met it. And I just bow before that blessing and how beautifully the two of you are demonstrating that.
You're absolutely right. And he came to his own realizations and awakenings about other things that were going on for him and his own life and his own psyche, and without me even being there. So that we were able to experience this together was really so important, because I don't know how I would have been able to come home and adequately shared it with him.
I think that's a really good question. And that really is, I know a lot of people have that rummaging in, like, do I go alone? Do I not go alone? And, what if I have a spouse who doesn't want to, or things of that nature? And, certainly that's the moment where we have to follow what our heart guides us to do. And so I just, again, thank you for the bright light that the two of you brought to us here in person. And I want to expand that out to all persons, right? We're in this moment of healing this heart of humanity. We're in this very profound moment of illumination. We're being opened at however our Hogwarts manifests, we're all being open to the greater potentialities. And so how are you noticing that helping in the healing experience?
In terms of myself or with the people that I work with?
All the above.
So in terms of myself, I returned being able to recreate that energy flow that I learned how to do there. And I have been doing it fairly regularly, which is super exciting, and expanding on it. And so that's been, I have to say that has been really healing. I feel like I'm starting, or finally maybe at 52 years old, integrating a lot of these lessons that you and Shri talk about all the time, about valuing myself and my contributions, and getting rid of all that self-doubt that certainly has plagued me, like I'm sure it's plagued many of our listeners today over the years, sometimes worse than others. But that part of my soul, I feel like has been healed.
I just want us all to breathe that in for a minute and really honor what you just said. I think we just need to all take a moment and just say thank you. Because for each one of us that can allow that gift to take place, we become the brilliant illuminated one to help others do the same. And this is what I've been seeing around you all night long. It's just, you have this literal golden emanation all around you that I have not seen before. And I am like so happy for, like so happy for you. I really am, because my heart just is like, yay, yay. And this is the moment that heals humanity. This is how we heal the heart of humanity, because look at the joy you're radiating. Look at how you're feeling. So let me ask, your inspiration, how's that going these days?
In all ways, I have been super motivated, super inspired. Just everything has been coming to me when I stopped fighting it so hard. And in fact, I'll give you an example. So I have an event coming up. We're going to talk about it in a little bit. But before I went to Ecuador, I literally lost half of the presenters in my event. Oh, and I know. And so I'm like, you know what? It's going to be okay. And the right people are going to come. And last week, I locked in the last couple presenters, and they were much more the right people than I had originally envisioned. And it's going to be a much better event because of it. And I feel like that is the gift that you and Shri gave me, is to be able to kind of let go and trust that I don't have to try so hard to make it all perfect, and it will turn out to be the way it's supposed to be. And not that I'm going to sit back and let my life pass in front of me. I'm going to continue pushing along my path. But I don't maybe have to make it so difficult for myself.
There it is. There it is. Wow. That just like you almost feel yourself exhale when you say that, right? It's really
Yes.
so beautiful. It really is. And so I really appreciate you sharing that so eloquently. I really do. No, just stunning. So let's talk about this event right now because I'm like in this energy. We have to just keep that loop coming forward. So it's like this weekend. It's a Saturday.
It is. It's
It's
on
perfect
Saturday.
timing to learn about this. Yeah.
Yes. And this is, we talked so much about over the equinox and when we were in Ecuador about this is the time of rebirth of the feminine. And really, this is what I have been working on for so many years. And it is birthing now, which is so exciting. But I am, I am I want to say I feel called to help people explore natural, holistic, complementary, and alternative ways of healing themselves, their physical beings outside of our conventional medical system, which is has a fairly limited scope. And
Right.
if you are a person who has tried everything, been to every doctor, and not had anything bring you lasting relief from what your issues are, then this event is exactly for you. It's called the Holistic Health and Wellness Forum, and it's an opportunity to meet, mingle, and taste a whole bunch of different modalities in one place without making a huge commitment to any one of them. So um, we have some presenters that you know. In fact, Jim Olnick is joining us, and he's going to talk about healing with lasers. And we have Sebastian Gentry, who's coming in to talk about healing with laughter. We have Dr. Holly Donahue is going to do a 21-day detox with foods. And then Inga, and I don't want to butcher her last name, but she's going to talk about, she has a methodology of healing, and it also uses lasers, but in a totally different way than what Jim's does. And hers is healing allergies in particular. So it's going to be a super fun and exciting morning on Saturday. And I just can't wait to kick this off because I get to share all these gems, all this goodness, all these incredible healing modalities with people who may not have encountered things like this before, who may not even know that other things exist beyond pharmaceuticals, beyond surgeries, beyond things that may cause more side effects than help.
Well, how can people find out more about this?
So the website is holistic health and let me say it correctly, holistic health and wellness forum.com.
And
Holistic
holistic with
health
an
and
H,
wellness.
right? Not
Holi-
WH, just
nope.
H.
HOLISTIC health and
Right.
wellness forum.com.
Fabulous, fabulous. Well, I'm excited about it. Oh my gosh, I know it's going to be incredibly amazing. I mean, I'm just like, wow. So I'm jumping over and I'm looking at, hold on, I want to see where I hit it because I had been just looking at the call board thinking we better get over there. And so let's go over to the call board right now. And is that good with you? Can we welcome some people in to the show? All right. So I know that all of you look at all these hands that are up tonight. I know that's because you're here, Elizabeth. Oh my goodness gracious, all the hands that are up. All right. Well, we're going to start with the mystery hand up. I've got a wireless unknown caller with their hand up. Hey, wireless unknown caller with your hand up. Namaste and welcome.
Oh, Kira, I talked to you for today. This is Pauline, New York.
Hi, sweetheart. Namaste.
Hi, I did not remember Elizabeth Yarnell. I know she was on your show before, but when she's talking about modalities, it's somebody that just actually interviewed that I think would be perfect for, maybe it's too late for this Saturday, but you'll probably do other ones, right?
Absolutely. There are more coming. So
you have other healers come in. This is the
yes.
Taylor guy. He's got an anti-aging program. Here, I was just telling Jess that before she ever interviewed him, he didn't have that. And I think you guys manifested that to help with the universe.
Oh. Well, thank you for sharing, sweetheart. Thank you. How can we serve you tonight?
You know what? I also wanted to share something with you Sunday, but I couldn't remember. You know how they say that the Earth tilts and all, and that there's a different magnetic north or something like that. You know that it's right over South America, and it looks like the Taurus shape. I was watching this video about it, and I said, this reminds me of what Kira has on her, graphics with the torsion field.
The Taurus.
It's like amazing. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
So I can send it to you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, please do. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for calling in.
Okay.
All right, honey. We love you. Namaste. Bye-bye. Oh, wow. It's always beautiful when we come together. And, I want to go back to the joy-filled energy of healing. When we can bring a smile, when we can see the synergy, when we can see that oneness, right? Sri and I often use the acronym STORM is to see the oneness, reclaim mastery. And so I want to go back to your story because, for those of you that are meeting Elizabeth for the first time, let's hear more. Let's help people understand why it's just such an amazing blessing to be sitting with you today. So let's hear your story and more about that because your story really helps heal the heart of humanity.
Thank you so much, Kira. So my story began one night in 1999 when I went to sleep as usual. My bedtime routines were all the same, but I awoke blind in my right eye. And in short order, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and told that I had an 80% chance of ending up in a wheelchair within 10 years of diagnosis. And so really that became my driving force. How do I stay out of the wheelchair? And the doctors couldn't really help me. All they could offer were these pharmaceuticals with pretty toxic side effects and dubious efficacy, honestly. And I thought there had to be more to this. So it was actually my husband, who was then my fiance, who you've now met, and he suggested that maybe my diet had something to do with it. And I had to admit, he probably had a point, because for the decade of my 20s, I had really been a girl on the go, and I had really the only staple foods in my apartment were Crystal Light, Diet Coke, and gummy bears. So I had a long way to go. And the medical doctors didn't think that diet or nutrition had anything to do with my multiple sclerosis diagnosis. But that's where I started. And I really started by focusing in on diet. And I invented and patented a cooking method to make it easier to follow a healthy diet. And then became a natural health expert. And now I have a nationwide clinic where I offer customized anti-inflammatory dietary therapies to people anywhere in North America. And now I'm embarking on this new journey to really help people connect, because I realized for me, my healing journey, which is now 22 years, I think, has not just been diet. That has been a super focus of it, but that hasn't been all of it. There have been all these other modalities that I've tapped into along the way to see what resonates for me and what I feel has been beneficial and helpful. And that's what I'm so excited about, is to really share all these modalities with other people who may not even be aware that they're out there, but who could try them, and it may find that they hold one of the keys to redeeming and reclaiming your own personal health.
Well, I love that you're mentioning that, because I want to ask, so the day you woke up with the blind eye, then you go through the process of the diagnosis. Up until that moment in your life, had you always been a natural health person? Had you always been that? Or talk to me about how did that, you didn't have you to talk to at that time, right? So how did that come in?
You're absolutely right. And in fact, I am the daughter of medical parents.
Oh, I love this. Of course you are.
My father's a neurologist.
Oh my God, no, that's too perfect. Oh, wow.
And my
That's a whole
mother,
show.
yes, my mother was an RN and a psychologist, clinical psychologist. So neither of them had any interest in anything outside of traditional medicine. And in fact, really had some trouble with me when I decided to start exploring out. But
bet.
I know. So before that, I feel like it was my life before, kind of like you, my life before, and then my life after the big health crisis. And in my life before, no, I was not at all into natural health. I was not healthy really in any way, shape, or form. I didn't even take vitamins to pretend I was healthy. I never kept fresh produce in my apartment because it would go bad. I lived alone. It would go bad before I used it. And I did all sorts of other things. You know, I smoked cigarettes and I drank too much and I burned the candle both ends and I would go nights without sleep and everything else that's associated with all of that. And then on top of it all, I got parasites, which was, I believe, a big contributor to the downfall of my health.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know how that came to be?
Oh, I can name you all of the times that I have picked up parasites that I'm aware of. The first time was when I was 9 years old and I was swimming in the pool at En Gedi in Israel outside of the Dead Sea. That was where the Israelites escaped. And that was the oasis in the desert, basically where they found the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Right.
And we were swimming in there and I drank the water.
I understand. I understand. Wow. Well, you know, I'm looking at all this and I'm looking at, again, the totality of the all moment before us, that healing the heart of humanity, that coming forward. I listen as you share with the joy of the discovery in your voice and the true miracle story that you are walking right now. I mean, you mentioned earlier you're 52 now, and you know, look at you. You're literally against all the odds. And there are more and more of us against the odds beings that are coming out and saying, look, this is really your normal if you let go of the paradigm over here that's trying to tell you that's normal. Right? It's not normal for these diseases to show up in our lives. It is not normal for us to age the way that we do. We mature. However, aging is a whole other consciousness. And so go ahead, please.
I agree. And that is something I work with my clients when I do one-on-one work is if you continue to identify as a person who is crippled in some way or disabled, then you will continue to become that identity.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes hard for people to recognize after they have been able to find some healing and find some relief, that they can move beyond and even find, oftentimes, most of the time, a higher level of vitality than they had before they got sick.
How awesome. Isn't that the best? And that is the consciousness evolution as well. So I love this conversation. Let's jump over. We've got all these people going, me. All right. So let's go over here. We're going to go, let's jump over. It looks like we're going to Bradenton, Florida, maybe. Hey there, Bradenton, Florida. Namaste. Welcome.
Namaste, Kira, and great to meet you, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for bringing me on today's show. As someone who practices some healing modalities, I've been a massage therapist for quite some time now and have expanded my consciousness and healing journey to incorporate some energy work. I'm just wondering, Kira, if there's a message or anything that would like to come through as I'm developing and still opening up my skill set and looking to be of service just more fully and more completely.
Well, first of all, thank you for asking. And as you were sharing, it's so beautiful. You were wearing this like white spa robe with this pink velvet big tie around the waist, you know, like this yummy, luscious, wonderful robe with this big pink tie. And while you were talking and when you said, is there a message, you just pulled open the robe and you stood up, and for the first time, you really saw you. And everything around you right now is saying, gaze deeper, because there's more. And the more that you keep saying yes, the faster it's evolving in. And it's funny, I see you, it's like you're standing and you're in the middle, and it's like you're pushing all these beautiful, I was going to call them buttons, but they're not. It's almost like what I was showing earlier in Inga Perka. It's like the harmony stones. It's like you know what stones to push, but you're forgetting that the door is right in front of you. And so just keep walking. You're right on track, sweetheart. You really are. I want you to really breathe that in. And as I share that with you, I also want to just check in with Elizabeth if there's anything she'd like to share.
You know, I was trying to tap in, and all I felt was a flood of warmth. So I was impressed with your channeling, what you felt, but that's what, and I would interpret that. Oh, my dog's going crazy. I would interpret that as meaning that you're on the right track, that this is where you should be going and what you should be doing.
So, sweetheart, thank you. And thank you for showing me such a beautiful robe. You know, it's how we wear that robe, and when we know to say, I am free, that makes all the difference. And you're amazing.
Thank you both so much. And much love to you and the community.
And to you, my angel. Namaste. Many blessings. Oh, let's bring our hands to our heart. You know, this is the healing heart of humanity, right? You know, I want to acknowledge last night, Monday Magic. You were there.
Yes, I was there, and it was magical. Really, every single aspect of it, and including how it unfolded, which was a mystery to you as well as all of us, but so relevant and so meaningful.
Well, I agree. And I'm still, you know, I was supposed to have the video, and thanks to Jean. Hey, Jean, thank you. Jean Zafir, one of our community members, he actually transcribed in order all of the revealed passages. And excuse me, excuse me. So I've been finishing a PDF so that it's easy, and the power and the energy in it. And the power and the energy in the video has blown up my computer twice today.
Oh,
and
wow.
So it didn't get out today. It's not going to get out till tomorrow, because I literally lost, as the film editor, I lost 100% of the edits. And so it's been a wild moment of technology. Extraordinary. Are you noticing anything with technology right now? I'm just curious.
We definitely have been playing around with technology. I had more tech issues going on in the first part of the year than I'm having now.
Interesting. So there seems to be this, the way that I'm experiencing it is, as we are all in this up level energy right now, as we are all sitting in that swing, right, from that 12 o'clock hour for all of April, getting this huge view, the experience I'm having as we're working with healing the heart of humanity is that we need to remember that all of this technology does have a sense of life around it. And it's almost as if I'm interacting with a child having a tantrum. That we have to remember that everything's up leveling. Share.
I said that very blithely, and then I realized that I am having trouble with technology. In fact, I got a brand new computer like 2 months ago or a month ago, and the speakers started blowing yesterday.
Yeah, this is not surprising. I have a Mac Mini, which is supposed to be like the ultimate computer. It's telling me it can't work anymore. And I've only had it 3 months myself. So it's wild what's happening right now. And this is part of this, right? This coming back into balance. Even as I'm sharing this with you, I can feel my ears filling with this harmonic frequency. Because remember, for all of us, and I don't have it up on the screen share tonight, but if you get the up level calendar, if you're looking at the up level calendar, May is the first of these 3 I just want to call it like a sonic wave that's going to hit us, and it's going to hit consciousness hard. And there's 3 of them. And that's what April's all about, is coming into balance, of illuminating, of carrying this energy. And should we say hello to another caller? How are you feeling about that?
Sounds great to me.
All right, let's go over. It looks like, I don't know where we're going. Maybe Fountainhead, Colorado, but maybe New York. I don't know. Let's find out. Hey, namaste. Tell us where you're from. Are you from Fountainhead, Colorado, or are you from New York?
Namaste. I'm from New York.
Hi, namaste, beautiful
Hi.
one. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. How can we serve you?
I was there yesterday for the magical moment that we had with Monday Magic, and I'm so very grateful for the beautiful, beautiful sharing that we had. It was really, really amazing.
Thank you. I know that I can even tell by looking at Elizabeth, we both feel your heart, and my heart is just, this is how we heal the heart of humanity, is this type of sincerity, love, and presence. Thank you for sharing that, sweetheart. I really feel you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I had a question that for the longest time, I've been dealing with health issues, but they're not, thank God, major health issues, but they're always like something or the other going on. And then there's some period of time that I'm perfectly fine, but it's either my eye or my pressure or my feet or my skin or my hair or my eyes. So I just wanted to see what was going on with me.
Well, I'm gonna respond from the etheric realm, and then I'm gonna invite Elizabeth to continue. But as you were sharing, this beautiful, beautiful, huge, like overarching mastery presence is putting their arms around you and saying, when you forget the wholeness of that which you are, we tickle you in certain areas to call your attention. And what they're saying is that your body is calling you out when you lose. It's like when your focus wanes, your body comes forward, and it's a way of bringing yourself back into this moment of balance. And look at today. Look at the day you got through on the call lines, right? Today is that 13.
Yes.
It's that totality. It's that perfect balance. And Elizabeth is here. So Elizabeth, I'm gonna share over to you, sweetheart.
Well, Kira, I think
Thank
that
you.
in some ways you really nailed it on the head when you said when your focus wanes, that's when things start to happen. So in my experience, there's always a trigger that is causing whatever the symptom is. So yours comes and goes and it shows up in different places. It's probably several different triggers. And I actually gave a workshop about this at the WWA event. But if you can tap into your intuition and start paying attention to everything from what you're eating to what you're putting on your body to what you're smelling to the laundry detergent that you're using to the dryer sheets, I would bet if you pay very close attention, you will be able to find a correlation, a pattern. And let me give you an example. So a couple years ago, I realized I got a new symptoms. Oh my gosh, I don't want to take up your last minute.
Okay, it's okay. But here's what I do want to share is that Elizabeth is 100% correct. And I am so grateful that we got to share that tonight. And thank you, my love, for calling in. I'm going to have to say goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you both so much.
Thank you, sweetheart. And Elizabeth, we do have about 1 minute. Quick, tell everybody again how they can find the conference.
Yes, so you can go to Holistic Health and Wellness Forum, FORUM.com.
All right, and it's this Saturday, guys, and it's hosted by Elizabeth. It's like the best. You're gonna love it. And Elizabeth, we love you so much. Thank you for all that you do that helps to heal the heart of humanity.
Kira, thank you for all that you do to heal not only me, but everyone on this planet.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart, with all my heart. I love you so much, and we love all of you. And remember, tomorrow is an up-level day, and if you're with us as part of those that are championing the next 6 months of expansion as part of that mentoring, we look forward to being with you live. Otherwise, make sure you are here next Sunday for Shri and Kira Live, because there is a lot to share about the closer we are getting to this May moment. Until then, may every being be the mirror that illuminates your soul. Elizabeth, I certainly know that you have been mine this evening. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Kira. Thanks, everyone.
Namaste. Good night, everyone. Namaste.
Thank you for joining us, and be sure to tune in every Tuesday at 5 o'clock p.m. for more adventures. You can learn more about Master Lady Kira Raa at shriandkira.com or visit their YouTube channel, Official Shri and Kira. May your heart in all ways know the Master you are.